There's this thing in media called Chekhov's gun, which basically means in every... No, alright. There's this thing in media called Chekhov's gun, which basically means everything in media has a reason to be there. If you show a character owning a gun, then the gun has to somehow be relevant to the plot later on in the series. If not, the scene where the character shows or mentions that they own a gun is unnecessary and can be cut. With that being said, let me ask you a question. Can an unnecessary scene be more impactful than a necessary scene? In the past few years, there's been a handful of series that have tried to aim this pointless, unnecessary scene that actually makes the series more impactful. The most prominent one being Chainsaw Man and the 2-minute long animation of Aki making breakfast in the morning. This scene was completely unnecessary and in no way forwards the progression of the plot of the anime. However, as I go into later, I think this makes the series so much better. However, we are not talking about Chainsaw Man in this video. In this one, we're talking about Horimiya, an anime that quickly made its way into my top 10 animes before the series was even over. And to the extent that back when I was watching series on ×2 speed, this is a series that by the end of episode 1 I went, nope, I'm watching this on ×1 speed. Beyond the flushed out characters, beautiful writing, amazing animation and fantastic voice acting, Horimiya manages to be a series that just is so real. There's no moment in the series where a character gets hit by a truck, goes flying off into the sunset, and then walks back in like, until you get hit by a truck and you get yeeted in tomorrow. No, this series is completely grounded to an extent. There's still the anime emotions, blush, crazy, all that. But it's so grounded and so realistic that the series just is so awesome. It's just a series about the realistic portrayal of romance and falling in love. However, there is a scene in the series where very mild spoil. I'm just saying right now, if you haven't watched Horimiya, go watch Horimiya. It's an amazing series. It was on Netflix, it got taken off. It may still be available in your country. I don't know. But if not, I believe Crunchyroll has it. But very mild spoilers for episode 4. It's not really a series you can spoil, but just in case, tiny spoiler alert here. There is a scene during episode 4 where Miyamura. There is a scene during episode 4 where Miyamura, one of our main characters, Ishikawa, one of his best friends, and Sengoku, the head of student council, are sitting eating ice cream. That's it. That's the whole scene. They're sat eating ice cream, chatting. While doing so, Miyamura sticks out his tongue and I don't know, stick my tongue out. Let's do that line again, shall we? While doing so, Miyamura sticks out his tongue and Sengoku comments on how white it is. Miyamura referring with, hey, it's probably just the popsicle that made my tongue white. Asking the words Sengoku to stick out his tongue, and it turns out it's green because he's eating melon ice cream. This is a terrible take. Let's try do this again. Do I get this in? I don't know. Maybe I keep it in. Let's do that take again, shall we though? While doing so, Miyamura sticks out his tongue and Sengoku comments on how white it is. Miyamura responding by pointing out how Miyamura responding. Why am I cracking up in this video? I don't know. I'm just excited about this video, I think. That's probably it. Miyamura responding by pointing out how it's probably from the ice cream. Asking Sengoku to stick out his tongue too, which turns out to now be green from the melon flavoured ice cream he was eating. Not being able to eat ice cream, Ishikawa pouts and sticks out his tongue in a bratty manner, which surprises Miyamura by how long it is, with Sengoku making a joke about him being part snake and saying how he'll tell Sakura and Remy about it. Unsure who Sengoku is talking about, Ishikawa asks who she is, resulting in Sengoku saying her full name and Ishikawa replying with his nickname he had for her. With the scene concluding with Sengoku inviting both Miyamura and Ishikawa to hang out in the student council room if the summer heat ever gets too much for them, because the student council room has AC. Now, looking at this through Chekhov's gun, was this scene necessary? In one sense, yes. This scene forwards the progression as it allows you to understand why all the students are in the student council room later on in the series. Having Sengoku say that if it gets too hot, Miyamura Having Sengoku say that if it gets too hot, Miyamura and Ishikawa could hang out in the school council room where they have AC, which becomes one of the main hub areas for characters to hang out with later on in the series which becomes one of the main areas for characters to hang out with throughout the series and allows for plot point relevant stories to progress through the area. So clearly this means this 2.5 minute long scene was necessary to the progression of the story, right? Well, not really. Not 2.5 minutes anyway, or rather 2 minutes 20 as the actual scene is. The plot progression of why the cast would be in the student council room meets Chekhov's gun. But what about Ishikawa's allergy to melon and his super long tongue? The series could have easily covered everything important from this scene in about 10 seconds in an alternate scene. The scene opens with Sengoku opening the door to the student council room with Sakura standing behind him. Inside of the student council room is Miyamura, Hori, Ishikawa and the rest of the cast. Sengoku asks, "You do know this is the student council room, right? What are you all doing here?" To which Hori replies with something along the lines of, "This is the only room on the campus that has AC. Besides, Remy said it was fine." After which Ishikawa stands up and offers Sakura his seat. "Oh hey, here, we're just guests. You should have the seat." But both being awkward, neither of them actually end up sitting down, but instead remain standing and start chatting. This would forward the Ishikawa-Sakura storyline and have a valid reason for why they're all there. And boom. Just like that, we saved 2.5 minutes worth of animation instead cover it all in about 20 seconds. This means the other scene wasn't necessary at all, right? Well, yes. Technically, this scene was completely unnecessary. But I think it's in the fact they included all the unnecessary moments that made it feel so real. The scene mentions how Ishikawa can't eat melon ice cream. Whether this is an allergy or just a dislike of melon, we don't know. Something like this never comes back up in the series, so it was unnecessary. And that's kind of the point. As well as how he has a long tongue. Again, something that never comes back up in the series ever again. It's just a scene of 3 guys chatting. Not chatting about the fate of the world. Not chatting about an exposition dump that they couldn't figure out how to write in naturally. Not even chatting about anything relevant to the story. Hori brought Miyamura ice cream because he was still wearing his jacket. Hori brought Miyamura too much ice cream. Miyamura couldn't eat all the ice cream. Miyamura offers it to Ishikawa. Ishikawa couldn't eat it because he's allergic or just doesn't like melon. Sengoku happens to be passing by. Miyamura gets Sengoku to eat the ice cream. Miyamura sticks out his tongue. Sengoku sticks out his tongue. Ishikawa sticks out his tongue. Miyamura and Sengoku comment on how long Ishikawa's tongue is. Nothing about that progresses the story in any meaningful way. I mean, yeah, there is the AC and Sakura plot points that are both brought up here, which do progress the story. But as I mentioned, there are ways they could deliver this information without the rest of the scene, or even having done so in my hypothetical scene, or even just have the characters say, "Thanks for letting us cool off in here, the AC is really great." I have no idea who... But that was about time for my voice to break. I have no idea whose voice that was supposed to be. Is it exposition dumping? Yeah, up to your interpretation. Personally, I'd say no, but I can see the argument. However, the ice cream scene also forwards the Sakura Ishikawa story, so it is totally necessary, right? Again, not really. The Sakura Ishikawa storyline had already been triggered via the opening scene where Sakura loses all the student council papers, with the next time they talk being the scene in the student council room after the ice cream scene. So why have it then? I think the simple answer is, it humanizes the characters. The fact that Ishikawa has a melon allergy never comes back up in the series. There's no later episode where Ishikawa collapses to the ground and Miyamura looks over the food and goes, "Oh, that didn't have melon in it, did it?" No, never again. There's no episode where all the characters are sat around talking about what character would be what animal, and Senku blurts out, "Oh, Ishikawa would be a snake because he has a long tongue." No, these are just pieces of information that make the character more flushed out that may or may not ever come back up again. A while ago, I watched a video talking about House, and I'm sorry to whoever made this video. I have searched for it. I cannot figure out whose video it was. I have about 7 channels at this point. I have no idea what channel I watched it on, and it was about a year ago, so I can't even go back. Well, I can go back far, but I haven't searched through 7 channels. I'm trying to feel. If you are the creator of the video, feel free to comment and I'll give you the credit. I don't know how to get rid of annotation. Point being, someone else's video brought up this point. This is not my original point, but it's a very good point. Let's continue, shall we? There was another video I watched talking about House, and how the characters became less and less real as the series goes on. They mention in the video that there's an episode where a patient is suffering from Wilson's disease. Unlike later episodes in the series, where one character will list off all the symptoms and the doctors instantly rattle off all the possible things it could be, almost as if they already knew what they were going to say. House asked what it could be, and Cameron, Chase and Foreman all sit around for a moment, thinking, until Chase says, "Oh, what was that disease with the gold rings?" Because he had forgotten what it was called. And Cameron doesn't instantly go, "Oh, Wilson's disease." She goes, "Oh, Wilson's disease."
Madness of King George.
What about that copper thing? What's it called? It's genetic. The body accumulates too much copper.
Oh, Wilson's disease?
Yeah.
Very rare.
It's just a little thing, but it makes them seem so much more human and real, as opposed to actors just reciting their line that they already know the answers to. Horimiya is the exact same. The series didn't need to have the boys casually chatting about ice cream and their tongues. I just realised that I wrote that. But it does, because the core of the series is just about two ordinary people falling in love. And the more human you make them feel, the more connection the viewer has with the story. Or at least that's my view on it. So, what is the takeaway from this video? Whether you're a writer, author, game dev, or someone making any form of media, it's okay to take moments to slow down and reflect and let the characters breathe and flush out not plot relevant information to the character. Moments that humanize the character and turns them from lines of code, scribbles on the paper, or animation panels into characters that actually feel like fully flushed out, three-dimensional characters that don't just exist within a story, that actually have humanizing features that don't progress the story. Because that is what happens in the real world. That is the truth of humans. Everyone has a unique tidbit about themselves, a quirky little thing about them, something that makes them who they are. And it won't ever come back up in their life. It doesn't matter. I don't like bananas. I think they're disgusting. I think they're vile. I don't know how we can eat them. But that is never going to come back up in my life. I'm never going to be in a life and death situation where the only way to survive is hope my friends remember that I don't like bananas. No, I just don't like bananas. And that's it. And you know what? Every person on this channel, every person subscribed, they all have unique things about them. And as of making this video, there are this many people on the channel. This many people with flushed out lives, stories, uniqueities is that a word, and just things that humanizes them, that doesn't progress the plot of their life. That was a weird way of doing this. You can also click over here to watch a video that YouTube thinks you'll like. So until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.